look at him, man.
Yeah.
Look at where he is after all he's gone through. If he can do it, so can I. So can
Yeah.
I.
Yeah, but you know what? When you put yourself out with that vulnerability and that being authentic, it really attracts others because it lets them know, holy cow, he's not perfect, number one. Number two, he's been through brutal hell in his life. And I would love to talk to him because I've been through hell. I mean, there are so many, Renee, that I deal with that are suicidal. I met with a young girl, 13 years old, who had 87 cuts up her arm. I met with a 17-year-old in juvie that had 125 cuts. I've met with this young girl that was 18 years old that she came up to me with her peer resource teacher, no joke. And I had been speaking individually to youth, to high schoolers for like 45 minutes after my presentation. She was the last one that came up, and her peer resource teacher was with her, and she was emotional. And she said, I just want to share something with you, Derek. I was so touched by you in your story. And I noticed a big scar across her neck, huge scar. And I thought, oh my gosh. She goes, I'm 18 now, I'm a senior, but I was 16 years old. And I came home from school, and my dad was in a fit of rage and had duct taped my mom and stabbed my mom over and over again. And I tried to jump on my dad's back to stop him. He threw me off. I grabbed the phone. I called my mom. I called the police. As he's stabbing my mom, he looks at me and he runs towards me and stabs me 28 times.
Ooh.
And I said to her, can I see your scars? And she showed the side of her neck all ripped up. Here, she showed part of her chest, her stomach, her back, and then she pulled her wrists back. Pulled her sleeves back, and she had so many scars on her wrist from the dad trying to kill her through the wrists. And I focus on a three-part formula that I came up with when I deal with anyone that's gone through trauma. Struggle, the solution to success. I validate their struggle. It was amazing what she went through, but we didn't unpack and live there because I only have a few minutes with her. And I said, what do you want to be in life? And she goes, I want to be a nurse. And I said, oh my gosh, that means you want to help people. And she goes, yes, I can go in that hospital where I was almost for a year learning how to walk again. And I can go in that hospital and all the doctors and nurses are going to give me love. And I want to give that love back to someone else. Well, the police went after the dad. The dad killed himself in the car in the mountains.
Ooh.
Guess what she's driving to school, out of school? The car the dad killed himself in. I found that out. We got together with some peer resource teachers, two different high schools helped out. And then we called the police department to see if they would like to donate because we wanted to get her a nice used car.
Yeah.
And the police department donated 90% of the money to buy that.
Oh.
And because she was driving this tomb.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the power of connection, the power of communication, the power of vulnerability, and the power of humanity. Just
Mm-hmm.
just connecting, just forming alliances and being able to say, holy cow, we are touching people's lives. And then she is becoming a nurse. She's going to change. It's the whole domino, it's the
Yep.
whole domino. So I just try to be a vessel. That's what I do. I just try to be an instrument. But I have story after story after
Oh.
story of young girls and young boys and older women. And I had this woman came up to me after my event in, I think it was Nebraska, and she said to me crying, she was about 60 years old, and she goes, how do you let go of the bitterness? I passed it on to my own kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, the key is awareness, acceptance, and forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself. See, I grew up in a church where we didn't talk about forgiving ourselves. We talked about forgiving others, turn the cheek, turn the other cheek, all that stuff. But nobody ever told me to forgive myself, to release the shame, blame, and guilt of the mistakes that I've made in my life and the people that I've hurt in my life. And once I started to embrace self-forgiveness, acceptance, and some people don't like the word forgiveness, so I use the word acceptance. And then you go eventually to that spiritual side of forgiveness and forgiving yourself, and then making the rest of your life the best of your life, letting go and grow, becoming better and not bitter, right? letting go of the resentment. And I'll tell you this. I spoke at for the UNAM, University of Mexico in Mexico City, their schools there, preparatory schools, and the professor came to me and said, "Did you know that a lot of cancer and a lot of diabetes and health problems that they have done research on is from bitterness, resentment, unforgiveness, because all of that stuff weakens your immune system. You can't
Yes.
sleep well. You have anxiety. You have worry. You have all these things. It's weakening your immune system. So I tell audiences all the time, let go and grow. Be better, not bitter. Focus on your strengths versus your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Level up. So
Oh,
yeah,
Derek, I just, I have chills everywhere because
thank you.
you are truly such a gift to this world. And I want to, in the chat box, if people have questions, I just want to open it up
Yes.
just for a few minutes because everyone is just so taken aback with you. I mean, you have new fans for sure.